Typically here on the channel, in the days leading towards a new update in GTA 9, I always make a price prediction video in which I estimate the rough amount of money that you will need in order to buy all properties and vehicles in said update. For these price predictions, I largely base them from past DLC vehicles and other aspects. However, this time around, with the Los Santos Drug Wars update, giving a price prediction is going to be a lot harder than every other update. This is because we haven't received any valuable information regarding vehicles or properties that I can use as my estimations. But today, I will be going over my rough predictions as to how much this December DLC will cost right from the start. Before I get into any of it though, it's safe to mention that the final price for this DLC will be for the day one and not including any drip feed vehicles or content that may be added later on, as most players can make more money after the update has released for the drip feed. So let's start off with what we have already received about the Drug Wars update. First of all, Rockstar Games gave us official information regarding one new vehicle coming to this update, the MTL Brickade 6x6. This vehicle is a new variant of the current Brickade in GTA 9 which costs $1,110,000, which will help us make our predictions. Let's talk about what is different regarding the new Brickade. First of all, it will now be accessible from the back with a new Acid Lab upgrade which you can add. Not only that, but it will have tons more armor upgrades as well as a different wedge upgrade for the front of the vehicle. Essentially, it will be just like the Terabyte with a business in the back of the vehicle. So what do I think the overall price will be? Well, basing it off the Brickade and the Terabyte, my estimated price is $1,242,000 from the start for just the base of the vehicle with no upgrades. This is a decent starting price for what will most probably be the paywall for this update. Moving on to the new property, which we know of as the Juggalo Hideout. This new property was discovered inside the code, showing us that the new business in this update is a Juggalo warehouse of some sort. Not only that, but leaks from Allocator told us that this Juggalo Hideout will include a vehicle workshop. The main thing I thought of when I heard this was the agency, which also included a vehicle workshop. Now, we have no idea how large this property will be, but estimating from the agency and the vehicle workshop upgrade, I think the overall price could be around $2,810,000 with maxed out upgrades, which is quite a lot judging by the fact that we don't know if it's going to be a purchasable property in this update. Moving on to vehicles, this is where things start to go a bit out of hand, because we don't have any factual evidence as to what this update will bring in terms of vehicles. First, let's talk about how many vehicles we can expect at launch. So the Criminal Enterprises update added 18 new vehicles, whereas the Contract update added 17 new vehicles. I think it's safe to assume that the Los Santos Drug Wars update will bring around 15 new vehicles. Now, what about the prices of all of these vehicles? Well, using some calculations from past DLCs, more notably the Contract DLC, combining all 17 vehicles, that gave us a total price of $29,431,000. So doing some predictions from this value, I think it's safe to assume that the Los Santos Drug Wars update will come to a combined total of $20 million to $24 million for the vehicles. Okay, so let's add up all of the properties and vehicles I went over in this video. Adding up the Juggalo Warehouse, Brickade and vehicle total gives us a grand total of $28,078,000 for this Los Santos Drug Wars update. So if you have around $20 million or $30 million, then you are at the safe point for this DLC if you want to buy everything at launch. However, if you're sitting with around 15 to 20 million, then you are still at a safe point for this DLC. Now, what about if you don't have anywhere near that amount? How can you make some last minute money in time for this update? The simple and short answer is Cayo Perico. In order to get the total amount of around 24 million for this DLC, you will need to complete just over 20 Cayo Pericos, which isn't all that impossible, and that is judging by the fact if you only have $0 in game, which, if we're being realistic, no one has $0 and everyone has at least $1 million, which gives us less Cayo Pericos to do. Or if you really have no time for this update, the best thing you can do is start heading to some of your garages and selling some vehicles that you no longer use. I usually use this method if I didn't have enough money, because it gave me around $5 million spare when I sold certain vehicles that I no longer used, so definitely use this method if your garages are filled with vehicles. With all that being said, that is all for this video. Comment below how much money you have right now in game, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it, as well as subscribe for more Los Santos Drug Wars content. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.